So pretty much everyone should be familiar with the Legend Hyper 212 when it comes to CPU coolers. That cooler by Cooler Master was and still is considered one of the most popular air coolers of all time, with the exception of stock coolers, that is. And as popular the cooler was, I have to tell you one dark secret: I've never owned one. Over the years, new versions of that Hyper 212 surfaced, and today we are looking at what probably could be the best looking one to date, at least in my opinion. This is the Hyper 212 Black Edition. The price is still extremely attractive at about $30 as we are used to from its predecessors. Of course, you cannot expect too much from a cooler that compact, so don't have too high expectations. But still, does the Hyper 212 live up to its legendary status? There's a good amount included, actually everything you could possibly need, even later on down the line. Thermal paste, of course, is also included. The aesthetics are looking really sharp, I gotta say. For my taste, an air cooler couldn't look any better than this. But some of you will probably start screaming again, telling the world how this design is a copy of what the manufacturer Be Quiet does, because we do see similar stuff from Be Quiet. But I could care less. It is a fact Cooler Master did release something very beautiful, and we consumers shouldn't really be complaining about having more choices. The heatsink is completely nickel-plated and all black with thermal coating. At the top, a very elegant brushed aluminum cover. So clearly, in terms of aesthetics, there's absolutely nothing negative I could possibly come up with. The Hyper 212 is equipped with a Silencio FP120 fan that is pretty damn quiet in operation, even at its max RPM of 2000. Between heatsink and fan, there are rubber pads to avoid any sort of annoying vibration noise. And what I love seeing at a price of $30 is the fact Cooler Master does include stuff for an additional optional fan, such as more rubber pads, fan clips, as well as a Y cable. All that is missing for a push-pull config now is a fan, but at a price of $30, that's not to be expected. There are 4 heat pipes with a completely nickel-plated copper base. Things are looking great when it comes to socket compatibility as well, since both new and old Intel as well as AMD sockets are supported. What can be said about the build quality? Well, I didn't notice any flaws whatsoever, and the mounting hardware seems to be of decent quality. Only the less crucial parts, such as the backplate for instance, is out of plastic. The rest is out of metal. The installation onto my test bench took me only like 5 to 6 minutes, meaning it's extremely fast. Plus, you need to keep in mind, neither am I fast nor too skilled. That says a lot. Memory interference is of absolutely no concern here, nada. That shouldn't be of an issue with most motherboards, meaning all DIMM slots can be occupied without the cooler interfering. But that's great, Nicholas. All you're telling us about the Hyper 212 Black Edition are good things, but this hardly can be perfection, right? Correct, it is of course not perfection. So for now, check out the test results with my Intel i7 7700K CPU overclocked to 4.8 GHz. Now before some start wondering, yeah, I'm starting to include results with the new Cinebench R20 now for my CPU cooler testing. This is the first time, which is why there's only one single entry so far, that is the Hyper 212 Black Edition. But what can I say about the cooling performance? Well, it doesn't really blow me away, to be honest. Don't get me wrong, for the price it's doing remarkably well, but life's not easy for a Legend these days. By now there are lots of other great options out there to choose from. Since this is more of a compact cooler, we can't expect too much from it, but I would in fact say you can keep those temperatures of an overclocked CPU in check with this cooler. Of course, that's depending on what CPU model we are talking about. If it's the i9-9900K, we'd be having a bit of a hard time dealing with the temperatures. That CPU is known to run fairly hot, even with liquid coolers. But it's obvious we shouldn't be comparing this Hyper 212 with high-end air cooling or liquid cooling solutions. In my opinion, the Hyper 212 Black Edition offers a good all-rounder package. It's good enough for moderate overclocking, depending on the CPU, is extremely quiet in operation, and is nice to look at. But fair enough, performance-wise there might be slightly better options out there. The extreme test with AIDA64 does show what I mean, because that's where this particular cooler starts to show its limits. But in all fairness, I have to say that's probably due to the Silencio fan. That one may be damn quiet, but as opposed to other fans, doesn't provide the best airflow. Seems like a trade-off for silence actually. At the end of the day, I can say the Cooler Master Hyper 212 Black Edition did manage to convince me. We may not be talking about the ultimate cooling beast for the money, but no doubt it offers a very good overall package, especially for people that care a lot about silence, which is why I'm still leaning towards the Gold Award for this cooler. And as always, thanks so much for watching.